Council Hobnob.
It's here. So you're saying there's a chance, but I got to buy a ticket, right?
You cannot win if you do not play.
So, anyway,
that is my philosophy. Anyway,
I don't see how that happens without buying a ticket. So.
All right, so Hobnob got a lot of movers and shakers and folks within the political community and the business community all coming together today at the Coliseum, not for a big costume party, but to talk about some of the things that are happening in Mississippi.
We really are. I mean, this is great, and I'm with you. I've been an old sports writer. This is the big house, no matter how you slice it. So, but no, this is always a fun day, and it's a chance to hear what's been going on in the state. It gets all of our statewide elected officials an opportunity to come and kind of talk about what's happening in their area. As you know, we'll have we'll start off with the ag commissioner and go all the way through the list and finish up with the governor. And we're really excited about today because it's also a special day. We'll talk about that, I think, in the second segment, that we're going to make a major announcement about what's ahead for our organization and a couple of others in the state. So we have a lot going on, and this is just it's a tremendous tradition that MEC has had.
Is this the official announcement of the worst kept secret in the history of the MEC?
Well, we haven't tried to keep it a secret. The announcement today is really kind of how it's all going to come together.
Okay, gotcha. So new details.
It's the new details of everything that's going to be in place. But yes, we're very excited about today because in a lot of ways this event started kind of about 24 years ago with just a way to get people together to do exactly what the name says, Hobnob. And if you look at the way our venue is set up, during the meeting there would be as many people standing back here where we are, just hobnobbing while there's stuff going on the stage. And they're more interested in talking to their friends they haven't seen in a while. They come from all over the state. And they do, of course, settle in toward the end of the program when the governor, lieutenant governor are speaking. And that's always a fun part of what makes Hobnob special. It's not just a way to do it. I mean, there's no question the Shelby County Fair is the largest political gathering in the state, but we like to think of Hobnob as being the second largest. So it's really an opportunity to kind of hear from everybody and get a chance to see everyone. What
do you anticipate the message from the governor will be this afternoon?
I really don't know, but I think he's got a good message because we're on the right track. And I think I said this last time I was on with you. I mean, I can remember conversations he and I had when he was lieutenant governor about how we move forward. And from day one of his governorship, even before he was sworn in, he said, my top goal is to raise per capita income in the state. Well, that happens by growing the economy, getting jobs. And you look at where we were with GDP growth in 2024, number 2 in the country. We were right there, too, with per capita income growth. So that's a story that I think is really good to say. And then at the same time, we've seen other advancements in education, workforce development. I really feel like Mississippi hasn't seen it even its best days yet, and we've seen some pretty good ones the last few years.
There are so many projects that the governor has been part of in terms of coming in, and we've seen all the big announcements, and the AWS and the other data centers and manufacturing and whatever. And I was struck by, I don't know if maybe at annual meeting last year when he was in kind of the seated Q&A deal. Mm-hmm. And he was still hammering per capita income.
He was.
The growth of per capita income across the state. And, I think there's something to be said for a leader who says, this is my goal, we're going to focus on it, but I'm not going to lose sight of what the goal was as we have success along the way.
And I think that goes back to that's something he came into office when he was first elected in his first term as his priority. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't wavered from that. And I think that's one of the reasons that you're seeing some of the stuff happen. And as it relates to economic development, I mean, we've set the stage, cities are going well. I mean, our regional economic developers are always working hard. MDA has really stepped up its game, and we've seen it in terms of capital investment of over $40 billion in the last 4 years. That's something that you got to be very proud of.
Yeah, that is absolutely real money. Scott Waller, CEO of MEC, joining us. He'll be back with us about an hour from now. We'll talk a little bit about the future of MEC. Also, John McKay going to join us at the end of the show at 8:50 this morning. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, 1 hour in the books. But we've got a whole lot more. We are back with you on the other side of this timeout. Don't go anywhere. Things starting to come to life inside the big house, the Mississippi Coliseum in Jackson, site of Hobnob, one of 3 annual events that happens for the Mississippi Economic Council, which has been that for a long time. It's been the MEC, but it is soon going to have a new name with new people under the tent. We've talked some about that with Scott Waller, President and CEO of MEC, but you're going to kind of lay out the structure today a little bit and what this is actually going to look like in practice.
Exactly. And we're so excited about this because this is something that we felt like was needed to really unify the business community in a way that we haven't been before. We've always had a tremendous working relationship with the Mississippi Manufacturers Association. We've had a tremendous relationship with BIPAC, and now we have the opportunity to bring these 3 groups together.
Yeah.
Doing that is going to make a big difference for the business community. We have so many of our members at MEC, and we've served as the State Chamber of Commerce, that we are actually looking very forward to having these groups under one umbrella. So as we do these things and bring these things together, we're going to have an opportunity to really make a big difference across the state as it relates to promoting businesses. So
what's going to be different?
What's going to be different is we'll be a single organization that will be called the Mississippi Business Alliance. We will actually be able to do all the functions under one umbrella. We've served as state chamber. MMA served as the state affiliate for the National Association of Manufacturers. So we'll still have those connections. But at the end of the day, bringing everybody together and actually bringing BIPAC in, who has been the political involvement, political education side of things, it puts all the pieces together. About 29 states across the country had been doing this. Another state just recently, at the same time we're doing our merger, they're doing their merger over in South Carolina. We wanted to do it while we were all really in a very good position with our 3 organizations. So when you think about where MEC has been, where MMA has been, where BIPAC has been, we now have the ability to bring these groups together. So the leadership of the 3 will still be involved. That's myself, Derek Easley, who is the current CEO of BIPAC, and then John McKay, who is the president CEO of MMA.
Right.
So John is going to serve.
2 very impressive guys.
Oh, they're great. They're great guys. I've been working with them for years. Been working very, very close with them for the last 2 years as this has transpired. We had a year where we went out to see, hey, do we really want to go down this road? The answer was yes. We spent the last year making sure we did it the right way. So John is going to serve as the president and CEO of the Mississippi Business Alliance, and that is, I'm very excited. John cares about our state. John is a true nonprofit professional, which you need in a role like this. And secondly, John has, he's young enough that he has time to really be here to build this out. I'm going to move over and oversee our foundations and a new program that we're in the process of setting up called Work Future Institute. We're going to talk a little bit about that today at the meeting as well. And that's really going to focus on how the business community becomes a lot more involved in a relationship with those that are providing workforce training, education, whether it's at K-12, community college, 4-year, all of those things, working really hand in hand with Accelerate Mississippi to make sure the training is taking place that is allowing somebody to go from getting a post-secondary credential or degree that actually puts them into the workforce here in Mississippi is our goal. So those things are very important. The business community has to be involved in that. They have to have a say. And I think that it's not that the education community is necessarily opposed to that. It's just if you don't tell them, hey, this is really what I need, how do they know? And I think that's what we're trying to get to with how the bridging that gap between the private sector and then the public sector providers is going to be a big part of what Work Future is about. But the organization itself is going to really grow because bringing in Derek he will be overseeing the political involvement side of things, will give us the ability to really focus on pro-business candidates for the legislature statewide and all that, so that they understand the importance of the business community throughout the state of Mississippi and the role it plays in growing our economy. So there's a lot that will be happening. Those things have been happening, but now they'll just be happening together, which means our members will benefit from it greatly. But more importantly, Richard, I really believe the state of Mississippi will see the big benefits of having a unified business community focused on how we grow our state.
You talk about pro-business elected officials at the state level. Is there a trickle-down effect to the local level from that as well?
I think so. I mean, in our last segment, we talked about what has been good in Mississippi, and at the local level, the areas that really focus on that, you see the economic developers in those areas, you see the officials in areas really focus on how they grow the economy and how they grow their communities. So yeah, it's definitely a trickle down, and I think that if you set the stage and the expectation, and I think that's part of it. This will help us set the expectation that we will be successful. It's going to make a big difference.
Scott Waller, President and CEO, Mississippi Economic Council. Big day here at Hobnob at the Mississippi Coliseum. Thanks so much.
You bet. One thing, if somebody's listening and hasn't signed up, you can still register on site. We'd love to have you come out.
There you go. Mississippi Coliseum. You can sign up on site today. Ratchet Entertainment Group is turning it up tomorrow night in Oxford. Halloween night on the eve of Ole Miss in South Carolina. The Molly Ringwalds return to the Lyric. You can relive the 80s with some of the biggest hit songs from that decade. One of the most fun nights you can experience. You can still get tickets for that as well. OleMissConcerts.com, OleMissConcerts.com. It's the Molly Ringwalds at the Lyric, presented by Ratchet Entertainment Group. 8 o'clock hour coming up right after the news.